All right, we have ACT prep. This is problem number 5. This expression, we have 4c minus 3d times 3c plus 4d is equivalent to what? All right, we want, anytime we see two binomials next to each other, in parentheses, the first thing we think is FOIL. FOIL it. What does that stand for? First, outer, inner, last in my chicken scrawl. First, outer, inner, last. Okay, so let's copy down our expression. We have 4c minus 3d in parentheses. And anytime there's two parentheses next to each other, that's like a little multiplication sign too. So you could write that in if you'd like. I'm not going to. But remember, this is just multiplying this entire thing by this entire thing. And how do we do that? We FOIL. All right, so we take the first term of both expressions. Remember, these are binomials. That just means that we have two terms per part of it. They're like parts. Okay, so we have 4c and 3c. Those are both the first part. Okay, so we have 4c times 3c. Remember, we're multiplying. So 4c, I'm going to write out the whole thing so you guys see everything. 4c times 3c. Okay, then each one of these terms is added. Okay, sometimes the terms will be negative, so when I'm subtracting, but each of the terms is added. And I'll show you what I mean. So we have first and then the outer, which means the farthest ones apart. So 4c times d. So plus 4c times d. Okay, then the inner. So the two ones that are super close together. That'd be like negative 3d and 3c. Make sure you take this negative sign with the 3d because it belongs to it, okay? So we have plus negative 3d times 3c. Again, multiplying them all together. Now, the last one is just the last. So the last two terms of each one. The ones on the outsides, or well, not on the outsides. We already did that one. The ones to the rightmost side. Okay, so then, again, this is 3d, negative 3d times d. So we have plus negative 3d times, not plus, times d. Okay, so that's how it works. This is our f, this is our I, or O, sorry, our O. Excuse me, as I kick the paper, we're losing it here. The Timberwolves are on and they're losing come playoff time. That's why I'm so out of sorts. O, I, L. Okay, so you kind of see we can divide those up. This is the F, which is the first. This is the O, which is the outside, 4c and d. This is the inside, inner, negative 3d and c. And this is L for last, which is negative 3d and d. And they're all multiplied together. And then each one of those that are multiplied together, we're adding in the middle. Okay, so then we can simplify. Again, we simplify just like PEMDAS. We take our parentheses first, so each one of these will simplify the inside of it, okay? So 4c times 3c, we have to multiply each of the terms, so 4 times 3 is 12. C times c is c squared. So we have 4c times 3c equals 12c squared. Okay, then we'll add our next term. We have 4c times d, that's easy. We just put the letters next to each other, essentially, right? Because anytime we have a variable multiplied by another variable, it's just those variables next to each other because they can't combine. At least not yet. So then we have negative 3d times 3c. Negative 3 times 3 is negative 9. We're going to put that in parentheses because we have a negative number. Negative 9 and d times c is just like we talked before, putting them next to each other. dc, because they're just multiplied together. If you didn't know this, by the way, anytime variables are next to each other, that just means they're multiplied together, right? So then we have plus, oh, another negative, so we use our parentheses to keep them straight. Negative 3 times, oh, nothing. And then d times d is d squared. So negative 3d times d is just negative 3d squared. If that was too fast for you, the reason is we have to multiply all the terms that are similar. There's an invisible 1 in front of this d, right? So negative 3 times 1 is just negative 3. And then d times d is d squared. Okay, so you multiply all the parts. When we multiply those together, we get negative 3 times d squared, which is negative 3d squared. So negative 3d times d is negative 3d squared. Okay, now we can keep going. This gets carried down. Plus 4cd gets carried down. Then plus a minus is just a minus. Okay, you guys should know that by now. Negative 9dc, and then plus minus is another minus. So we have negative 3d squared. All right, now it looks like we have nothing to combine because we have c squared and d squared. And remember, we can only combine those that have the same variables and the same variable exponents. But don't get fooled because we have a CD here and a DC. And we know that negative 9 DC equals negative 9 CD because we have the commutative property of multiplication, which means we can switch the order of the things we multiply and it will be the same answer. For if you want to try it for yourself, you could put in a consonant for D and C, like a constant for D or C. Like you could plug in 3 for D and like 20 for C, and then work that out, and you can see that it's going to be the same answer. If you don't believe me, try it for yourself. Okay, so then we carry down our 12c squared plus, we carry down our 12c squared plus 4cd, and we're going to substitute, because this is equal to this, for a negative 9cd minus our 3d squared, okay? And then we can combine them because they have the same cd. So you have 4 minus 9, which is negative 5 cd. So 4cd minus 9cd is negative 5cd minus our 3d squared. And we're done. We can't combine anymore. So we look to see if our answer is up here. And indeed it is. Our answer is right here as C. We'll double check to make sure we got our signs right. We have 2 minus signs. We have 2 minus signs. So we're good. Our answer is C.